Hey family, it's Dead Mother Amanda coming back live, and we're gonna do a little brief survey, taking a look at some of the candidates for presidential election this year around. And try to bring a as balanced as I possibly can. I think we all have who we lean towards more than others, and it is your choice. You have the absolute freedom and right to choose whoever you actually really do wish to vote for. You know, vote from your heart. Based on facts and what candidates have done, either for good or not so good for the country and what they have done thus far in their political career or lack of political career. Um, there's definitely some ups and downs from both sides, from former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris. Um, and I'm gonna try to go through those as much as possible. Please stay to the end. And hopefully it'll be insightful. And try not to get worked up. I don't think it's not really worked up, but it just brings some facts to the table and see where it goes from there. And I'm always open to discussion, questions and comments in the comment section below. And as always, I try to make this election just as fair as possible. There's always some minuses when it comes to the presidential election or any election for any office. Where things just aren't always done correctly, so to speak. And I believe for the most part they try to keep that at a minimum. Okay. Um, 22, there was a lot of um, conflicts during the 2020 presidential election. And really, there's some things that caused that controversy that were very valid. Some of them maybe not so much. And I think when we start going to primarily mail-in voting, it's easy to get that twisted. And let's say it's more susceptible to voter fraud. Okay, with the openness of it being with the more ability to be able to change the votes. Okay, I believe this is something that's probably happened through the course of voting, and it seems to probably have happened more in the 2020 election. Okay, mail-in voting was supposed to be meant for certain aspects of voting, like military members and military support people who are overseas. Those who are physically disabled to a point where they can't get out easy enough to vote. Okay, it's supposed to be a small amount. Okay, and they would do stuff like that for when it comes to voting, with some other exceptions. And sometimes, as voters, we legitimately have things that we have to get done and do on a day of voting. By only do we have to do. We can't avoid those things that we have to do. And if we can prove those to a satisfactorily, okay. do the mail-in voting. Not to use that. You should be using that as an excuse to go in and vote. Okay. I understand the election was towards the end of the pandemic in 2020. But things have been opened up. And people were still calling for wanting to do predominantly mail-in voting, knowing that it was more susceptible to fraud. Okay. Seems as though electronically by pushing the tab behind a closed curtain, so people wouldn't see what people don't need to know who you're voting for. I don't want to know. Okay, that's not my business. That's between you and your conscience and what you think is going to be the best outcome for you. And anyway, going through the candidates for the presidential election. And Kamala Harris has had a longer political career than Donald Trump. Of course, yes. Kamala Harris is the VP, Vice President. Donald Trump is the former president. Okay, Kamala Harris's record a bit, and she started out under Willie something other from San Francisco, and eventually became mayor of San Francisco and appointed her to a bunch of different places in politics, in various service positions in San Francisco. One of which she got elected as DA of San Francisco. Ultimately, I made it to the district, to the California's top watchdog for the attorney general, and she did some time in Congress, in the Senate, and while she was the attorney general, she prosecuted, and DA, of course, she prosecuted crime. That's her job. That's what she was supposed to do. Okay. And finding out through that, I could probably find if anybody's wanting to know where to find the stuff, the records, I'm sure I'll be able to bring them up at another time if you'd like to see them. Some people she prosecuted were innocent, and she put in evidence that didn't belong in certain trials, or even if she didn't, they may have been found guilty anyway of a lesser crime. And then once they were in prison or jail, for whatever reason and how she did it, she always extended their jail sentence to get free labor from inmates. And that's a crime. To illegally extend it. Okay, now, early release, like for good behavior or whatever, that could be denied for whatever, and usually not because you want to get free labor for the city or the state. She's done that. She's extended it longer than the original sentence was supposed to be. She's for medically transitioning children through puberty blockers, puberty blockers are a chemical castration that has been used for convicted sex criminals. And thing is, with convicted sex criminals, I want that to be accurate, because we all know that that's a nasty crime that nobody likes. Nobody. The thing is, I don't want to see people going to jail for that or be found guilty that who are not guilty, and somehow. Okay, and for those who actually really are guilty, they should be punished. They should be and need to be punished. No ifs, ands, or buts. And get a maximum sentence compared to what their crime is for that particular crime. Seems like there was another thing I was going to talk about when it comes to that also. Well, like I said, she tried to fight crime. I believe a bunch of it was probably legitimate. Okay, and some of what I believe she knows was not legitimate. Okay, and always extended their sentences to get free labor and free work for the city and or state, which is still also a crime. Um, I'm not saying that criminals that are punished with jail or prison are innocent of anything. I believe for most of the time they're there for a legitimate crime. Okay. What I don't want to see is criminals being punished in excess of what they should be punished just to get free labor from them. Okay, now it's also been wanting to allow surgeries for minor transitional surgeries for minors. Okay, and some surgeries have happened for minor children. Okay, people are going to try to push back and say, well, no, it doesn't happen. Well, yes, it does happen. Maybe it's not on a large scale, and it's something that isn't talked about a lot. Okay, look at Chloe Cole, who said in a was in a congressional hearing about this. Started puberty blockers, so it's like Lupron. At 12, I think, 12 years old. Had a double mastectomy at 15 years old. That's a minor child having a medical transitional surgery, removing her breasts. Was put through affirmative mental health therapy. Okay, the short form of affirmative mental health therapy is yes, you are trans, and we will allow you to start medically transitioning. We will give you hormone blockers. That's not really the greatest way to go. Okay, it needs to happen in a loving, caring way is find out what the underlying conditions are as to why someone wants to medically transition, whether it's a child or an adult. Okay, I started my transition as an adult. Okay, affirmative therapy for an adult. Well, I guess okay, but you know what? For me, I'm really not comfortable with affirmative therapy. For aforementioned reasons, underlying conditions that might be there, or ideas that maybe I might not have thought of, that might be a legitimate reason for me to change my mind. Okay, because this is most of the stuff for medical transition is a permanent thing. There's a lot of it. There's no going back. Okay, I've been on hormone therapy since December 2019. Some of that stuff just isn't going to go away. Some of those physical changes aren't going to go away. Okay, I've had vocal feminization surgery with webbing. That could possibly be reversed. The breast augmentation could be reversed. Okay, those are a few of the things that can be reversed. It's just not automatically reversible. But okay, we're gonna stop doing transgender medical care because maybe I don't want to. I really don't. I'm comfortable. I'm really good with where I am, where I'm at, and where I'm going. There's a few things, yes, I'm still working on when it comes to transition. Okay, now once we go down that medical road, we're always on that medical journey. Okay, whether we stay and continue as being transsexual or transgender, and we stay on that path, there's always going to be some kind of medical, whether that be the primary thing, lifelong thing, is hormone therapy, hormone replacement therapy, okay, and hopefully mental health therapy for those of us who need to continue to do it. Maybe it comes a time where we may not need the mental health therapy as much. Because going through this transition is alleviating a good majority of the gender dysphoria, which probably still won't go away. And I don't think children actually really understand, without going through puberty, whether they really want to transition or not. That's being pushed. Medically transition these children. Okay. There's two things I want you to look. Who is making a lot of money from medically transitioning kids, children, and adults? Okay, and I'm not saying don't transition because it's something you need to do. And what I'm talking about right now is pertaining to children. They're always going to be, and adult. This is for this particular comments for adults too. Whether we continue to stay or detransition, we're always going to be on some kind of medical treatment. Okay, whether with other the natural natal born hormones that we were on if we detransition, and still go through some mental health therapy and take care of what's going on emotionally and mentally. Okay, the mental health therapy is always a good thing, no matter what we're doing when it comes to that transition. Or if you're not trans, just anything that you need to have mental health therapy to help you get better. Okay, for like depression and anxiety, there's antidepressants and anti-anxieties that can help. Okay. Next topic is a biggie. Okay, is abortion. Okay, and yes, during President Trump's kind of time as president, the Supreme Court has removed Roe versus Wade. Okay, which means it hasn't been abolished. Okay, people can still get it done in the states where they allow it. Okay, that can still be done. Okay, I don't necessarily people I've done episodes on where what are my beliefs on abortion. Okay, um, if it causes an extreme health risk to the mother and unborn infant, okay, something should be done, and that's extremely rare. Okay, incest and rape. Go through some mental health therapy before if you're in those states that have a cutoff time for abortion, try to go to do some mental health therapy because it is very traumatizing. It really is. I was sexually assaulted as a child. And it's very traumatic. It is. Um, and sometimes we need help getting through that. Okay. I don't necessarily abortion is birth control. No, no. Because I believe at that time it becomes premeditated first degree murder. That's my belief. Okay. I do not hold water with my body, my rights. Because as soon as you get pregnant, that's a whole nother life, different than your own. Yes, that unborn, unborn child develops in your body. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go with that. I understand. I totally get. I don't understand them from the point of going through that. Okay, I can empathize and sympathize with what women go through during pregnancy and childbirth. It's stressful on the body, and it can be stressful emotionally. It's still not a reason to abort a child. Because it is, it's a brand new human life. Okay, it's got DNA from the mother and the father to create a unique, separate individual. But that's some of my beliefs. Okay. And no, for birth control, absolutely not. And my idea is, and I believe this wholeheartedly, if you don't want to get pregnant, okay, use birth control or just don't have sex. I know that just don't have sex is really hard not to do. I get it and I understand. Okay, but if we're having sex and we're already old enough, no matter what we do, even if we're using birth control, pregnancy can still happen. Granted, it's rare, yes. Okay, story of being rare. Okay, I have a teacher. I had a teacher when I was in college in a biology class. His friend's wife got a vasectomy. Or not a vasectomy, the husband had got a vasectomy. She got pregnant. Okay, he was on birth control too and still got pregnant for a third time. And then then I guess from what if I'm remembering right, had a hysterectomy done. Okay, so yes, it happens. Okay, and we all know that's not the only. Yeah, and we're gonna talk about there's a democratic stand on LGBT plus community. Okay, and identity politics. when it comes to their identity politics, they put the trans and LGBT community on the bottom where we're all victims of something. No, we're only victims when we want to be. Okay, and they're supposedly fighting for um, trans rights and trans health care, saying that trans men are men, trans women are women. That's a lie. Trans men are women. Trans women are men. It's still a biological fact. DNA has not changed. Intersex has nothing to do with being trans. Maybe they become trans, and it's still kind of iffy on that. But that's neither here nor there. Intersex is not a transsexual, or transgender thing. It's where something in during pregnancy hasn't been developed or developed in the wrong way. It was a in uterus developmental issue. Okay, and with ambiguous genitalia. And do a chromosome test through blood work to find out whether it's XY or XX or XXY or XYX, and to figure out what sex the child is born. In the case of intersex, then yes, that's what do they want to call it? Identified at birth, male or female identified at birth. Okay, when we do not have ambiguous genitalia when we're born, not having those problems, it's not an identity. It's who we are. It's how we were born. We were born male or we were born female. It's not a identified birth as male or female. Biology is still a reality, and that includes for intersex born people. Biology is still a reality. That it's just a made up fabrication. It's not a made up fabrication. It's been proven for thousands of years. Okay, yes, okay. People, being lesbian, gay, or bisexual has been going on for years, more thousands of years. People cross dressing has been going on for thousands of years. Yes, it's not a separate gender. It's not. Okay. Now, as vice president, she was supposed to be the border czar and take care of things at the border. She has never been to the border. She has not done thing one when it comes to the border. Since Biden and Harris have taken office, more people have been coming through the border. More crime has been starting to happen because of these people coming over the border illegally. Okay, and it's pretty sad when you see National Guard in large cities. And I've seen National Guard with M16s out in large cities, particularly New York City. I go there a lot for my transitional health care. See armed National Guard members. because of the criminal element that does come with illegal border crossings. Okay, it happens. It really does. And I also believe there's people that come across that want to escape for a better life. I don't know if escape is the word for it, but to come over to America for a better life and to be freer than what they were. Because this is still the freest kind of nation in the world. Inflation has gone up exponentially. Okay, gas prices have gone up exponentially. Where the average for a gallon of regular gasoline was like maybe $1.90 to $1.97 on average, national average. Now it's up around $4 a gallon on average. And they're just pumping money into it. Look at your grocery prices, how they have gone up. A loaf of bread that used to be maybe $1, now it's like maybe $1.65 to $3 or $4 a loaf of bread. And other food items have gone up exponentially, making it an extreme hardship for those who have a family and try to support and feed a family. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of extra help out there that they could get. Sometimes a lot of these people that need that extra help don't qualify for some of that extra help. People are getting desperate. Okay, I'm trying to think of some good things that this woman has done. I'm sure she has, but I haven't seen a lot of them, if any. She talks a good game, but I actually look at what's happening. What has happening over the course of her political career. Okay, now, Donald Trump, former president. Sometimes his vocal rhetoric isn't the greatest, and I'll agree with that. Sometimes it's really not the greatest. Okay. What's happened under what has actually legitimately happened? You gotta put your thoughts aside. Even if you dislike them, put it aside for now and look at what has gone on. Okay. I think most of the dislike for Trump is his vocalizing and the rhetoric. Okay, and I understand that. But let's take a look at what he's actually done for the country and people, the general population, the working person. Okay, he's done things to bring back more work for people. More people have been to work in probably more than 50 years. Reagan helped create a lot of jobs, a whole crap ton of jobs that were made before he was in office. But what Donald Trump has done since then, and you got to remember the population has expanded also. It's helped the market, helped businesses to create more jobs for people in America. Okay, and there's a lot to be said for financial freedom, whether you agree with capitalism or not. When you got better finances, your life gets better. You're able to do more things that you need to do, and hopefully have things that you would like to do and have. You're able to take care of yourself and your family better because there's more jobs. Okay, did things that took down some of the regulations that just made no sense, to where it would help new business creators and current new job creators and current job creators will bring about more jobs and brought more jobs back to America that started here than overseas. Because it was so regulated, they had a hard time affording to do what they needed to do. Okay, the more we put people to work, the more lives get better. You know, okay, I don't know what averages are across the country, but like in New York State, public assistance for single individuals $401 a month, plus SNAP benefits at $291 a month. Okay, now can you survive better on $3,000 a month or $700 a month? Which one is easier to be able to live with? Okay, which one is easier to live with? Okay, and we got the more jobs out there. We're starting to lift people up. When we have more finances, cash on hand to deal with and work with, things get easier to afford. It's easier to take care of yourself and your family. Okay. His jokes sometimes that wasn't meant to be heard. Okay, yeah, whatever. It wasn't meant to be heard. Put it into a perspective. It wasn't meant to be heard by everybody. Was he serious? I doubt it. Like I said, I don't agree with some of the vocal rhetoric. Okay, and I believe that was put out just to make him look bad, intentionally. And it does to an extent. Okay. Well, he's president, black and Latino and women working was at the highest rate that it's ever been in 50 years. People were working, making a living, and able to afford the basics. A home to live in, whether that be an apartment or a house. Be able to put food on the table and pay for public transportation or their own transportation. More people were doing that. More jobs are being created by new business owners. Okay, there was a trans ban. No, it wasn't a trans ban. What it was, it was a temporary pause in letting trans people enter the military while the trans people that were still there were still serving. Okay, and they've fell under the note that clause that Bill Clinton enacted. Don't tell, don't say. Um, I've got my beliefs on trans people, whether trans should be in the military or not. In certain cases, yes, certain cases, no. Okay, and what I mean by that, there's reasons for it because the general public who are not trans don't typically don't suffer from gender dysphoria. Okay, now with gender dysphoria comes depression and anxiety at levels that need to be treated at times. Okay. Now, if you're not trans, other people do that are not trans or part of the LGBT community do go through chronic depression that needs to be treated. They're not allowed to serve because of the chronic depression. Why should trans people have that extra right that the general population does not have? We don't deserve that special treatment. For those of us who really are transsexual, we really don't want that special treatment. What we want to do is live our lives. Okay? Understanding that we don't want the special treatment that other people don't get. Okay? There are trans people that could actually legitimately serve and be okay with serving in the military. Yes. Okay? And it should be looked into and go on a person by person basis. Okay? Because certain depressions people freeze up, and that puts other people in danger. Whether you're trans or you're not trans. Okay. Some people get stable enough and get their stuff under control where, okay, yeah, you can serve now because it's been proven your stuff that would disqualify you before is now under control. Another thing that another thing that the general public is not allowed to serve or directly correlates to being trans, medically trans. Okay, it's hormone therapy. The general public is, if somebody's on hormone therapy, is not allowed to serve unless they were already in prior to. Then they can still continue to serve. But if someone's just coming in and they're on hormone therapy, they're not allowed to serve in the as a general population. Those who have gender dysphoria are getting treated for hormone replacement therapy. We don't need to deserve that right that the general public does not get. We don't deserve that special treatment. I wouldn't want that special treatment if I even if I was at the age to be able to go in. I served. Okay, that stuff I wasn't suffering from. Okay, I wasn't suffering from chronic depression. I wasn't getting treated. I wasn't going to therapy. Okay, it was self-controlled. I was not on hormone therapy of any kind. Okay, I was physically fit enough to be able to join. Okay. Now something that I've kind of noticed, and I think it probably happens, but not in a big, large degree. I think it's a very small degree. When some of us as some trans people have gone into the military, we've gone into the military to help get the medical benefits to be able to afford to be able to transition. And that's not the way to go into the military. I don't want people going into the military with the sole purpose of having medical benefits to be able to medically transition if that's the only reason they're going in. Granted, medical benefits is huge for anyone going into the military. And it's awesome. And especially it helps benefits for having medical benefits for your children, if you have children and a spouse. Okay, it's definitely always good for that. And then there's on-base housing, if some is available. There's benefits to it. I don't think we deserve treatments that other people do not get to get into the military. Okay, we're going to do something as a support, as a civilian support person for the military. That's actually an honorable thing to do. We're doing something to help the military members and their families. Those support teams that is needed at every military installation. Do something like that. It's a good thing. So all I know is that and yeah, the Democrats claim Biden Harris has claimed that they've had a bunch of different jobs come back. Well, you know what? Take a look at this. What happened with COVID? Everything got shut down. People were not allowed to go to work. How many of those jobs came back when people were allowed to work that were lost and not able to work at due to COVID? I guarantee you it's more than 80%. Their job creation numbers are not as high as they claim. It's just not. It's because people were allowed to go back to work after the COVID restrictions were lifted. That's what brought back a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs that were being refilled because of being lost because of COVID restrictions. They weren't created, they were already there. They were being backfilled again. Jobs that were there that needed to be put back, someone needed to get back to them and start working. And jobs that were already there. They're replacing the jobs that were lost because of COVID. It's not new jobs. People not working because of COVID is, and then when the COVID restrictions were lifted, is not creating new jobs. It's just bringing back to the workers to the jobs that they already had prior to the COVID restrictions. Okay, yeah, there were some good job creations, yes, but it's not nowhere close to this galaxy as to what they're trying to claim. And yes, they created some new jobs. Not the, they did not create the numbers that they're trying to say they did. Most, and I mean most, of the jobs were brought back because of the COVID restrictions were dropped. So anyway, it's getting a little long. So yeah, just take an honest look and try to leave prejudice aside. And look at the accomplishments or lack of accomplishments the particular person has done. Which accomplishments are going to be better for you? Which one is going to do the things that'll help you to bring about a better life for you and your family, whether it be Republican or Democrat or even independent? Which ones have actually done better to help you be financially stable and enjoy some of the freedoms that we have here? So yeah, and neither side is perfect. Neither side is perfect. Okay, and they're just not. Okay, and I agree with that. Neither side is perfect. But there are some that, on whatever side, have been able to bring about better results than others. Who has brought better results for you in your life? Look at that part of it and go from there. Based on what each person has done or not done. We don't always have to agree with the person we vote for on everything. And I know that people say that because I'm trans, I should be voting Democrat. No, I'm not a one-sided voter. Okay, I voted. I have in the past voted for Democrat and Republicans before in the past because I'm not a one-sided voter. Okay, I'm not going to say who I'm voting for this time around. I'm not. Leave it up in the air because I'm still researching some stuff, looking into both candidates to see which one overall could be the better fit for where I want to see this nation go as a whole. Okay, and take an honest look at it, the good and the bad. Okay. So anyway, if you'd like to help me out with this channel, please like and subscribe if you would like to. Share the video. And if you would like to help support my channel, you can do that through PayPal at hashtag DeadMotherAmanda, and a portion of those financial donations will go to me trying to create a nonprofit to help people in a transsexual, transgender community. Okay, and the LGBT, some of the LGBT community. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that would be nice is to help us out. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us in the transgender, transsexual, and LGBT community, we all could at times use extra financial support. You know, so that's what I'm trying to do with that. You know, and some of that split both of some of that up for doing things with my channel, and put some of it towards going to creating a nonprofit for that. So anyway. May your higher power always bless you. And remember that you are important, you have value, and you have worth. And if no one told you they love you today, I love you. Thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the day, no matter what part of the day you're in. Bye for now.